So Gatling is performance testing tool, performance testing tool, and it's also called load testing tool. But yeah, so with Gatling, we can do different types of load testing, like load testing, spike testing, stress testing. Okay, and these are few examples which comes under umbrella of performance testing. It's up to you how you want to use Gatling. Now, if you want to start with Gatling, you have two options, Scala or Java. Gatling is itself is written as written in, like you can say, Scala language. Uh, this is a DSL, domain specific language, and and um, it's up to you if you want to start with Scala or Java. Uh, so we will continue with Java. Now, if you have to start Gatling with Java, you need to install a few tools, you can say, on your local machine. So I am using Mac machine. First, you should have Java installed on your machine. You can verify using this particular command, Java hyphen version. I can show you for my machine. Like let me create this particular screen. So you can run this command to verify that whether Java is installed or not. Okay. So on my machine, Java is installed. And on your machine, if your Java is not installed, you can follow any tutorial on Google and just install Java. For latest Gatling version, uh, Java 11 is minimum, I think. So you can Google it, like you can search here, Gatling with Java, and it will just open, you can just open this Gatling official documentation, and here you can find that it's mentioned there. So if you want to work with Java, Java 11 is the minimum version uh, for Gatling. So I recommend go with Java 17 or Java 21, Open JDK or Oracle Java. Okay. So this is the primary requirement, you can say, Java version. If Java is not installed in your machine, you can install it by following any tutorial. Okay. So I'm not gonna cover about how to install Java. Now next version is Scala. Scala should be is good to have. Like Scala should be installed on your machine because Gatling is written in Scala. So I recommend if you're running load test from your local machine, just install Scala as well. Okay, and Maven Maven is not mandatory for Gatling, but yeah, you need to run Gatling test cases from Maven command, and so it's good to have. If you are already working with some any testing tool, like if you are writing test cases of Selenium, rest assured, APM, right, Playwright. So I hope you must have Maven installed on your local machine. If you're not having, I recommend please install it. So these are the three major tools for Gatling which must be installed on your machine to have like better way to run Gatling commands. So once you're done with these three tools on your local machine, then you can open IntelliJ and install Scala plugin. Again, Scala plugin is not a mandatory for running your Gatling load test from your local machine, but I recommend it's good to have because you must be when you will be working with Gatling, you must be debugging your code, and sometimes you need to see the code of your you can say Gatling library, so it will be decompiling your code. So yeah, So now I can show you how to install these three. You can install by googling or following any YouTube tutorial or something. Now I will show you how to install Scala on Gatling. I'm sorry, IntelliJ. So let me launch IntelliJ. So this is my idea. Just click here and go to settings, click on plugins and search Scala here. Click on install. Okay, it will install Scala in our IntelliJ. This is just a plugin for IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, now we are done with, so it will take few seconds to install. We need to restart the ID. Cool. Now, if we click on again, click on settings, go to plugins and search Scala here. You will see it must be installed here. It will show you it's installed. See, it's showing you disable. Disable means this particular plugin is installed on your IntelliJ IDEA. Cool. Uh, Now, next thing is you have installed Java local machine, Scala, Maven, and you have uh, IntelliJ installed, IntelliJ IDEA installed, or you can use Eclipse as well, any ID tool to write your scripts. Okay. Now install Scala plugin. That is also done. And now we need to create one Maven project in IntelliJ IDEA. Okay. So you can say create Maven project in IntelliJ IDEA. So let me create project in IntelliJ. Just click on file, new project. Okay. So here I can name as Gatling demo, Gatling load test demo. And here I can pass, click on Maven, and it will be, I have installed OpenJDK 17 on my machine. So yeah, so I will be using this same only. Advanced settling, so you can put it any name. So I will say demo org, okay, anything, right? Demo company, or you can say. So I will click on create. So it will create a new project for me. Now this is, you can say, Maven project. This is just a, you can say, blank project. We need to add dependencies for uh, Gatling here. Okay, we need to add two dependencies in the Power.xml. Okay. First is Gatling core, and second is high charts. So, guys, I'm not having any predefined content for this particular demo. I will be just searching on Google, and yeah, I will be finding the version. I will be facing the issues, and I will be resolving live only. Okay. So let's first search Gatling core version, Gatling core Maven dependency. So latest version is 3.12.0. We will go with this. Just copy this particular code snippet, Maven dependency. Go to your pom.xml, and here you can add dependencies. Good. And add your dependency here. Now we have to add one more dependency, high charts. You can search here. So you can copy this particular version. So package name is gatling charts high charts. You can copy this dependency and you can paste here. Cool. Now build your project. Right click on pom.xml and click on Maven, reload project. So it will just download your uh, Maven dependencies in your local machine. So let's wait for a few seconds. Yeah, so dependencies got resolved. Now, if we have to just make sure that all the dependencies are resolved in this particular project, go to test directory and Java, create one class here, new class, and you can say load testing demo. Okay, so here you must be able to import to make sure that all the dependencies are resolved. I have not Gatling. Yeah, so we can say dependencies are added successfully. Now we are able to, you can say now we are able to write Gatling test cases in our IntelliJ. Cool. So now we need to create our first, you can say first simulation in Gatling terminology. Like when we talk about load generation, right? So we call it as a simulation. Okay. So to create a simulation in Gatling, we need to extend simulation. Extend simulation. Cool. Now we need to make some HTTP call. Let me find. I will just Google it. Like Gatling scenario, Gatling load test scenario in Java. So you can search here. Create your first Java based application. I'm just looking for code sample. If I find something. So again, guys, I forgot to add one thing here. Is recommended by Gatling. If you are creating any simulation file for Gatling load test, right? Your class name should end with simulation. Like I am having this load testing demo class name. It should end like it should have postfix simulation. So I will just refactor this class as refactor rename. I will just put and like simulation. Okay. And this simulation is an abstract class. Is your class should must extend simulation abstract class. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, because it will be extending few methods in the class. Okay, so now let's uh, write one simulation in Gatling, right? So this is this is your protocol builder. You can say uh, this is your default protocol, right? Let me import the statements first. STT. Oh, cool. Now it will be like if in like in TestNG, right? If we are or rest assured, if you are having idea about API testing, right? Uh, if we are working on some service, right? Let's suppose we are having some microservice. Let's suppose we are load testing microservice login service. Okay, we have one microservice login in our ecosystem, right? In that service, we will be having. Let's suppose our application is www.facebook.com, right? And in that particular company or organization, we will have, let's suppose, one login service. And in that login service, we can have n number of endpoints like login via username, right? Login via, you can say, login via phone number, right? Right? Login via email ID. Login via you can say or token if we have predefined token. Login via Instagram token, right? So in a single service, we can have n number of endpoints. So these are called endpoints, right? But base URL can be same for all endpoints, right? So in Gatling simulation, we can have one protocol builder. Like in this particular simulation, we are having HTTP protocol builder, right? And in this protocol builder, we can define HTTP base URL. So you can say this is a base URL for all our endpoints. Good. And if you have to pass some common headers, let's suppose uh, in our application we are just sending HTML content or application JSON content, right? So if we have any common headers in our HTTP protocol, right? So we will be writing here only. We will talk about HTTP protocol builder in later coming demos. For now, let's just focus on creating your first simulation and Gatling. Okay, so let's go to tutorial only. So this is a protocol builder. Now we have to write scenario. This is your scenario. Okay, we are done with the protocol builder and add scenario. So uh, let me import class scenario import static method. Now what is this is? This is scenario name. Okay, this is user defined name, nothing else. And in this particular scenario, we are executing HTTP request. So this is user defined request number, request name or request number. Okay. Now this is the actual thing. This will make HTTP get call to this particular endpoint. Cool. If we search this particular endpoint on browser, I don't think it will work or not. Let me try computers. Yeah, it's working. Okay. So we will just hit this particular API. So this is scenario builder, right? So, like if you have to perform load test on any endpoint in your service, right? You need endpoint for that. You mean to say URL, right? You need URL for that. Now, in this protocol builder, we are defining base URL. This is your base URL, and this is your you can say you end particular endpoint of your API. Now the thing is, this is a GET request, and as we have seen here, to hit this particular endpoint, if I reopen this close, if if I need to hit this API, right, I don't need any credentials. This is a public endpoint. I don't need any auth token, or I don't need to pass some you can say bearer token or something, right? This is get endpoint, and this is publicly accessible. So I'm not passing any authentication token here. Like if you're working on some like if you're working on some endpoint, right, or some API in which you require authentication, right? In that API, you must need to pass some header either here, right? Like you can write header like this one, right? Or you can pass your header here. You can define here dot header. So you in headers you can pass like content type anything, right? Content bearer token something. So you can add n number of headers here. So we will be covering headers in the upcoming demos. For now, just focus on creating simulation for Gatling. So for run demo, we will be covering only get endpoint that is provided by Gatling only. If you can see here, this is Gatling domain. So this is I think this endpoint must be created by Gatling to provide the demos only. Who must be you can say exploring Gatling product. So I think you guys have got the idea. This is your you can say protocol builder. This is your scenario builder. Scenario is the actual scenario. You can say here we define the endpoint which we need to load test. Cool. So now let's go to the tutorial. So is saying we are having three in a Gatling simulation. We have three main components. One is you can say protocol definition, and in this protocol definition, you define base URL, common address, any cookies, cool, like common authentication for all the endpoints, like that. And in this add scenario builder, this is called scenario. In a scenario, you define actual API request, any validations, like check response code is 200 or not. Okay. And here you can pass headers as well. Any specific headers. Cool. So this is your scenario builder. In this scenario, you will pass the actual, you will create, you can say you will create the actual endpoint, actual API for your load test. Like I will be testing this computer's endpoint. Cool. Now by default, it will be hitting only this single endpoint. It will be hitting this API only once, right? Now in load test, right? In load test, you can say we need to hit this computer's endpoint n number of times, right? At the same time. That's what load test, right? Like if I'm uh let's suppose if we have to if we have to load test Facebook, right? More than 1,000 users will be using Facebook at a time. Now we need to make sure that if 10,000 users are using Facebook, they are they should be not getting too much latency. Okay, low latency should be there, and failure should not be there, right? So when we provide services to our client, okay, uh, either we are working in a service-based company or product-based company, we leave some documents, okay, uh, SLA, service level agreement. Okay. So, guys, we will be having different separate session for SLA, and SLA is a service level agreement which company provide to its consumers. Okay. In this agreement, we say that our uptime is 99%. Okay. Some companies say their uptime is 99.9% time, and some companies say their uptime is 99% time. Okay. Some companies say their uptime is 999% time. And similarly, like for more digits. Okay. Guys, for you can say this is just like we are increasing 1 9 after decimal. But if you Google it, if you explore more, just putting 1 9 after decimal, it will change the time a lot, okay, in a year. So this is SLA defined by companies. This is, you can say, if company is saying their SLA is uptime is 99%, okay, and that means there can be a possibility 1% time their system can be down. Okay. And let's suppose if we are having 365 days in a year, right? And if their system, if companies or service provider system is down for this particular SLA, okay. Usually SLA is for these values, but to better explain this particular terminology, I'm just taking this example, okay. In this, let's suppose company is saying is to its client or consumer, right? For service provider companies like you can say software as a service companies, they provide services to companies as well and to the consumer as well, right? To both, they provide this SLA, service level agreement. If they say their uptime is 99%, up to 99%, 1% it can be down, right? So we can say we have 365 days in a year. Let's not talk about leap year or something. So their system can be down for 30, you can say 3 days approximately, approx, right? Now, if their system is down more than 3 days, okay, let's suppose their system, let's suppose their system is down for 10 days. Now, client or their consumer can do a court case against this company. Okay, they can say they are not providing their SLA, they are not on their SLA, and based on the you can say facts and data of this particular service downtime, maybe service provider need to pay some fine, or they need to return the money to the client, or they need to return back the money to the consumer as well, like if they have some license fees or not, right? So this is the SLA. We will be discussing this particular terminology in detail, like maybe 2 to 3 after 2 to 3 sessions. Yeah. So to achieve this SLA, we define SLO. You can say service level objective in a company. Okay, or you can say organization. Now SLO defines that you need to reach this particular uptime. Okay, or you can say mean response time to achieve to provide the SLA. Okay. So let's not dig into this SL and SLO. We will talk about this later. For now, just focus on this particular simulation. So let's move to the tutorial. So to create a Gatling simulation, first we need to define protocol in which we define base URL. It's up to you. If you don't want to use this protocol, you can pass the complete URL here only. Okay. It's not mandatory to use protocol builder, but it's recommended to use because right now we are having only one scenario, but later on we can have multiple scenarios, right? When we will have multiple scenarios, we will be reusing this particular protocol. Cool. So we are done with the protocol builder and scenario builder. And now the third thing is creating the simulation. So as we discussed here, in load testing, this particular endpoint will be consumed by more than n number of users, right? So we need to replicate this particular scenario. If this particular endpoint of Facebook is at a time you can say consumed by 10K users or 100K users, right? Then we need to make sure that if we are hitting this particular endpoint 100K users, in a load test we call it virtual users, right? We cannot have physical users. Like when we perform load testing, right, it's not easy to get physical users. Like you cannot ask 100K people to can you test our application, right? For that we need to use some like load testing tools like Apache JMeter, right? I hope you guys have an idea about that. JMeter, right? We have K6 by Grafana, right? And Gatling we are already exploring, and we have many more tools to load test if you want to explore, right? So in all load testing tools, one terminology common, right? Load testing tools, we have virtual users. Like in this example, if 10K users are using Facebook at a time, right? So in this particular load test, we will be creating 10K virtual users, which will be hitting this particular endpoint at a time. Okay, it's not like it's a sequential. First, one user is hitting the endpoint, then a second, then third, then fourth. Not like that. All users will be hitting that particular endpoint in parallel at a time. Okay, and with these virtual users, we will see the performance of our application, or you can say performance of our system under test. Okay, because we must be having some environment which we will be testing, right? Like we will be saying we are having 2 to 3 nodes of this particular login service, and in these 2 nodes we are having like 10 pods per, you can, per node, right? So we will be having total 20 nodes, 20 pods of Kubernetes, right? So this is like, I hope you guys have idea about what are nodes and pods, right? So yeah, so we will be learning about that gradually. For now, just understand, in load testing tools, virtual users is just like your physical users. So in load testing, we will be like having virtual users which will be hitting behalf of you. Okay. So now we have seen in this Gatling simulation file, we are able to build HTTP protocol and scenario builder, right? Now we need to hit this particular endpoint for 10K users. Okay. So you can search here. We will just copy the code from here only. Write the scenario, define the injection profile. Okay, we need to define the injection. So injection means like we will be injecting 10,000 users in this particular simulation, 10,000 virtual users. So let me copy this code. So you can write here. So yeah, so let me first import the required methods. So this is the this is called now you should know about this particular code style. What is this? This is called instance initialization block. Okay. You can Google it, like what is instance initialization block. This is called just before the constructor. Like this is the, you can say, this will be first line of your constructor. When you call constructor of any class, this will be, you can say, constructor will be calling uh, this method before executing constructor content. Okay, you can search this particular topic name, instance initialization block. What is instance initialization block in Java? Okay, you can get idea about that. Now this is the setup method which is predefined by Gatling. In this setup method, we are having a scenario name. So this is a scenario name, right? My scenario, and this is inject open. Uh, now, to create injection and Gatling, we have two types of injection, right? One is inject open, or you can say second is inject close. Now, let me tell you the uses of this inject open and inject close. Uh, like we have two types of application. If I talk about Facebook, right? Facebook can have a number of users, right, at a time. And Facebook cannot say we will be supporting only 100K users at a time. And if we got any user, if we got like 101K users, right, we will not accept that. Facebook will never say that, right? Now, if we have capacity of 100K users at Facebook servers, right, and they got like 101K users, they need to spin up more servers, right? They need to spin up more servers. This is like auto scaling or something. But like we have some applications in which we cannot have more users after a limit. Let's suppose if I'm talking about call center, and this is telephonic call center. In telephonic call center, let's suppose if call center is having 100 telephones, right? And each telephone is having, you can say, each 100 telephones, each telephone is having one attendant, right? So in this particular, for this particular application, they they will be having only 100 users, up to 100 users at a time. Okay, you can say up to 100 consumers at a time. So in this particular scenario, we can use inject close. Good. And for these type of application, we can use inject open. Now we will be yeah, we will cover these topics. These are important topics in Gatling. If, when we talk about simulation, load testing, we will be talking about these two methods in detail. For now, we will be using inject open. Let me move to IntelliJ. So I'm using inject open here. So what it will do, it will be sending 10 users. Okay. It will be sending this particular, it will be hitting this particular endpoint 10 times each second. Okay. So you can say this will be running your test suite. This will be running your Gatling simulation for 60 seconds. Okay, cool. So duration is in seconds. So during means it will be running your load simulation for 60 seconds. And if you can see here, we are passing constant users per second. So each second it will be sending 10 users. It will be injecting 10 virtual users. Cool. So in total, if I use this particular simulation, in total it will be getting 600 requests. So in this Gatling simulation file, this particular simulation file will be hitting 600 API requests of this particular endpoint. You can say it will be repeating the same API again and again. In 60 seconds, it will be hitting 600 requests. Cool. And if I change it to 100, so it will be a big number. It will be 6,000. So it will be hitting 100 API requests per second for 60 seconds. Cool. So let's try it now. Now we need to run this particular simulation. So I need to run this particular command, Maven Gatling test. So this is the command to run your Gatling simulation. Now we got some error. Guys, again, I'm telling you, I'm just started uh, with the Gatling and I don't have any playbook or SOPs to, you can say, set up Gatling. I'm just fixing it live so that you guys can also face such problems and you should learn how to fix these problems. Okay. So you can see here, we run this command, Maven Gatling test is saying, we need to add Gatling plugin in Maven. So we need to search here. Let's add. So we have one error here. Okay, cool. Now let me clear this. Maven Gatling test. So we got a build failure. Let's see the error. So it's saying no plugin found for prefix Gatling in the current project. Guys, we need to run this particular Gatling test by using this command only, Maven Gatling test. And to run this particular Gatling test using Maven, we need to add one plugin here. So go to pom.xml and we need to add a plugin here. So let's search here Maven Gatling plugin. We will be adding this particular dependency. So we will be adding this. I think we are done with these dependencies. Okay. Now we need to, yeah, we need to add plugin. Go to this repository 4.9.6, copy this. So we will use this here. So we will just copy this. We will add plugins. Good. And here, adding my one plugin. So we will use this version 4.9.6. So let me rebuild it. If it works, let me try this running command again. Project name. So it's saying again we have typo here. Let me try again. I must be adding something wrong. Let me search here. Add plugin to found.xml. Dependencies हो गया and project हो गया, properties हो गया. Okay, we need to add this way. We need to, acha, okay, cool. We need to put this under build tool. Cool. Let me run this command again. Let me clear this. See, it's now compiling the code and running maven command. See, this is the log here. It's running load test. Load test simulation, load testing demo simulation started. You can see here is hitting our API and total it's hitting approximately. Let's go to the end. Yeah, server is taking time to respond. See, it's still running. We got response for 4,000 requests, but waiting for 2,000. Yeah. And we are also getting error, like we are getting 429. Server is like not responding 200. Maybe their server is having some capability, maybe limit or something, right? Yeah. But you can see here, right? It's sending approximately. Let me show you a report, okay? You can see the crux here. It's totally sending. If you can see here, this is the report generated by Gatling. This is the raw report, which is you can say uh, created by Gatling. But if you want to see HTML report, I will show you. I will show you in a minute. Okay. For now, let's process this information. It's saying total request count sent is 6,000. Okay. So it's saying is sending 60 requests per second, or what we have mentioned here. So it will be sending 100 requests per second. So it will be sending 100 requests for 60 seconds. Total count will be 6,000. And minimum response time for whole simulation is 65454 milliseconds. And max response time is, you can say, 10 seconds approximately. And mean response time is 1 second. And these are the percentile response times. I hope if you guys are working on load testing, so you must have idea about what are your like response percentile response times. Okay, if you guys are not having no idea about what are percentile response time, let me know in the comment section. I will create one detailed you can say video for this particular percentile response time. And this is your mean request per second. So this is your mean RPS. So I hope you guys have idea about what is RPS. This is important concept in load testing. You guys must have knowledge about this particular thing. What is the RPS rate? Okay. So it's saying 92 RPS per second. And this is your response time distribution. Like you can say 2279 request got response less than 800 milliseconds, and 37 API request response got in you can say 800 milliseconds to 1200 milliseconds, and 437 request got response after, you can say response time is more than 1200 millisecond. And for these like these number of API requests 3247, we got 429. 429 is HTTP got like this is just a you can say dummy endpoint which is provided by Gatling. Maybe their service is not too much good to like get this particular load, right? So now if you want to see a detailed HTML report, just see this HTML report. See, this is like good pictorial representation of your whole you can say load test simulation, right? So it's showing again number of requests and their response time. Like 2279 request response time is less than 800 milliseconds. Similarly, 37 request response time is 800 to 1200 milliseconds, and 437 request got response time like more than 1200 milliseconds, and these requests got failed due to any reason. Reason we can find in the like below here. So it's saying 3247 request got HTTP code 429. Okay. Now you guys can debug like what is 429. So we got this particular, this is load testing, right? We are sending 6,000 requests to our this particular endpoint and the server start failing, right? But this is a good example for load testing, right? If we try to generate a load and we need to see our application can how much and like load how much traffic our application can handle gracefully without giving any error. Okay. So now these are like different components in Gatling report. So we will be having separate session for complete Gatling report. So this is like normal idea about Gatling, setup of Gatling, and creating your first simulation file, and running your Gatling simulation. So this is the command. In Pom.xml, you need three things. Let me give you the crux. First, you can say crux of this demo is setup Java on your local machine, Scala setup on your local machine, Maven, right? So these things you need to install in your local machine, right? Install. After that, create Maven project in IntelliJ. And in this Maven project, Pom.xml, you need to add Gatling code dependency, high chart dependency. Both the dependencies are must for Gatling simulation. Now these are dependencies, okay? And you need to add a Gatling plugin in the Pom.xml to just you can say run your Gatling simulation using Maven command. Cool. So after you are done with this setup, you are able to write your simulation in your IDE using Java code, and you are also able to execute this particular simulation. So guys, this is all about Gatling for now. This is just a very you can say first session on Gatling. What is Gatling and how to set up Gatling on Mac machine for Java. And once you set up, create your you can say Maven project, and then Pom.xml add required dependencies. Once you are done with the required dependencies, just create your simulation file and add this code here. And after that, run this particular Maven Gatling test command. If you can see here, it will just trigger your simulation, and it will, after the execution is done, you can see this Gatling report here. Cool. So guys, that's all about today. And if you guys have any questions, you can put it in the comment box. Cool. Thanks guys.